I'm too busy in life, keep taking time to sit and meditate. Like,
Yeah.
isn't there like a little quicker technique we can do? And I get that sometimes. So how do you approach that when someone shares this? Like, you know, this is really nice for people who have time,
Mhm.
but I just do quick things like give me a 1 minute strategy to fix it. I don't want to sit for 20 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes. What?
Yes.
How do you approach that?
Well, in some ways, it's okay to do short periods of
Mm,
practice. In some ways, it's okay to, do 5 minutes a day so that it doesn't
mm,
have to be long. But every time you do even a short period of practice, consistency is
mm,
perhaps more important. Consistency is an important piece because we
mm,
we're watering the seeds of wholesome states when we bring our
mm.
mindfulness or kindness. So we're watering the seeds, and like all the plants, beautiful plants in your office, for example, we need to water them consistently,
Yeah.
even a little bit every day. If we watered them only once every 6 months, a whole bunch, or only once every 6, they're not gonna grow.
Mm.
And so we're watering the seeds of these wholesome states in our own hearts and minds, and so it's helpful to remember that the power of the practice isn't necessarily in how it feels in that moment. It's in the
Right.
intention, and that intention builds over time, and we don't know necessarily when it'll flower.
Mm.
I say that, and then also, when I was doing those small moments of, "Oh, this is self-judgment, may I be kind?" In that moment, there was a fruit. In that
Yes.
moment, there was the taste of kindness and freedom. Because I was
Mm.
free from the ill will of the self-judgment and of disliking the self-judgment just for that moment. So
Mm.
so perhaps in answer to your question, consistency is perhaps more important than doing a whole
Mm.
bunch of practice, although 20 minutes and 45 minutes of practice is very good. But
Yeah.
to even if you do a little bit, to notice any small bit of wholesomeness in there.
Mm.
Eh, why did you start this in the first place? Like, what's the little tiny fruit there? What happens
Mm.
when you stop for just a minute and settle in to the body and the breath? Let
Right.
yourself know the wholesomeness of that. Really know it. And when we know the small wholesomenesses in that way, then they'll grow and our system will get more magnetized for them. And then
Mm.
over time, it'll be easier to sit.
Mm.
So I think there is some wholesome effort needed in the beginning,
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
wholesome intention. But then as we pay attention to the small fruits, the mind can then want to sit
Mm.
or because it feels good.
Yeah. And as you're describing this, the wholesome states for those who might be new to this, how would they know it's wholesome? So there's a feeling good, or
Mm.
what do you say, which is might be different? They go, oh, I think this is wholesome.
Oh, that's such a good
Mm.
question. I'm gonna offer something, and then I'd be interested in what you have to say as
Yes.
well. So, the very first foundation of the of mindfulness, the very
Mm.
first place we pay attention is in the body.
Yeah.
And so we get to know closely what the sensations, direct sensations are like. And then when we build on top of that thoughts and emotions, we can sense in the body what those thoughts and emotions, what impact they're having
Mm.
in the body. And so, for example, anxiety, I know has like a very jaggedy energy.
Mm.
I know that calmness has a kind of a settled energy. And so we
Mm.
begin to feel in the body what feels like it leads us towards more struggle, what feels like it agitates the system, what builds
Mm.
the jangly energy, what feeds the anxiety more, like watching lots and lots of news will feed
Mhm.
the jangly energy.
Mm.
And spending a minute or two in mindfulness of the body can calm. So we
Yeah.
begin to the vocabulary of the body is how we
Mm.
know. Does it feel like it leads to more struggle, or does it feel like it leads to more peace? And the way we know is, what's the impact here?
Hmm. Oh, so beautifully said. Does it lead to more struggle or more peace? And
Mhm.
even as you're speaking, you're pointing to the body, your body. So there's a direct knowing. This is not conceptual. I think sometimes when we approach the practice, whether someone's new or has been practicing for a while, we may get caught in concepts like, how do I get to give me the formula to arrive at, and what let's like what does it look like? And it's wait a minute, it's a direct, even as you're pointing, I'm noticing myself right now, I'm pointing to my own body as well. So it's a, like, how does it feel like? So there's something about connecting with ourself and getting to know directly what happens when I'm in a state of agitation,
Yes.
or I just listen to my mind as I was doing some work, like check email again. And when I do, when I didn't need to, how does that feel in the body?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Just an example. Yeah.
That's a great example. It's a
Yeah.
wonderful example. And the more we can tune in there,
Yeah.
the more that's our guide.
Hello there, and thank you so much for stopping by this channel. I hope you find this content useful, and if you do, feel free to hit that subscribe button. It will really help me to reach to more people and keep this content going. Here we are journeying together, and let's see where this takes us.